Hey everyone, time for a concealer hack. So this hack is using a liquid concealer, then dipping it directly into a loose powder, applying it underneath the eyes, blending it out, and you're apparently going to get flawless, full coverage, and it's not going to be cakey. Let's see. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take down some of the color in my face with a touch of foundation. Now I'm going to use a matte one here. Just going to use a small amount, but just to take down any high coverage. And then we'll jump straight in with that concealer hack. Okay, so the face is now all one color pretty much. So we're going to take our powder. Now I'm going to be using this powder here by Born This Way, but any loose powder will work just fine. And I'm going to take a concealer. This is from Natasha Denona. And whatever's on the applicator is what's going to go in. So I'm going to dip it directly into the powder. So there's powder on the applicator. And now I'm going to go underneath the eye. And I'm going to repeat this process again. I need a little bit more product on here, 1 second. There we go. Pat it underneath the eye. Then I'm just going to take a triangular sponge. And now we're going to blend this in. And I like to pat and press the product. And I go all the way over the entire eye so that the whole area here is bright. Okay, so one side blended out. Now we'll do the other side and I will tell you how it feels. So just blending it all over the eye, the entire eyelid and underneath. And don't forget, when you're blending, especially with concealer, when it's lighter or brighter, you need to make sure that the edges are well blended and you're blending down as well, so that the concealer meets the rest of your foundation. Now at the moment, with no color on the face, everything can look quite stark. So I'm just going to tap. So the concealer underneath the eye area, depending on the amount of powder you use, it's much drier than it is when you're just using concealer alone. So there is this slight dry feeling to it. Now I'm 46 and it isn't collecting at this moment too badly underneath the eyes. Now the goal here as well is to then take a small amount of that loose powder and a really tiny amount on the same sponge. And then you're very lightly just going to seal in that concealer. And then we'll add some color. So really a tiny amount. Now we'll add some color and I'll tell you what I think. So I've just dotted on a little bit of blusher. And this has a slight sheen to it because everything else here is quite matte. So this is going to add that balance we're looking for. Okay. It's actually pretty good. I think if you don't overdo it, so generally speaking, the younger you are, the more powder you're going to be able to use with this technique. And the older you are, the slightly less powder. But even so, it's given the skin quite a velvet texture. And that's quite interesting for this kind of product. Now, I originally came up with the technique where you put the powder directly into the foundation, which is an amazing technique for oily skin. But with concealer, the pigment is much stronger underneath the eyes. So you need to be a bit more careful. But the actual end result is pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it. It does actually feel quite nice underneath the eye. And it doesn't feel dry, which is always a bonus. Let me know what you think. Try it out. I look forward to seeing your comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.